Hey everybody, this is Ramon Ray, founder of Smart Hustle Media. Thanks for taking the time to join me for another exciting interview with an amazing entrepreneur friend who tells some amazing jokes, but I'll leave that for another time, another day. Mike Michalowicz, many of you know him with his book, Profit First, which is to his right shoulder back there, and other books he's written. And I must say, I've told Mike this by email, and he doesn't need me to say this because millions of us have said it, but Profit First has changed. Wouldn't make us my life per se, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. My business changed my perspective, Mike. As I've told you in private, I'm bad with numbers. It's just not my strength. That's just not what I do. I'm a marketing guy.
You sound very human, Ramon.
Well, but I'll claim that I know marketing, but numbers, finance. Yeah. But man, so you know, just the buckets and things like that, and so I just want to kudos to you for helping the world with that.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me.
So fix this next, Mike. Your latest book is here. Mike, one question, I have 100, but I think I'm just going to let you talk, man. What's inside? Why do we care about it? And why this one? Is this not the same stuff as everything else? Clockwork, Profit First, Pumpkin. I mean, why this one? Was it really needed? Why?
Yeah. So the irony is I think it's more needed today than ever before. And it's not my intention to write it for macro crisis like COVID, but I Fix This Next was based upon the premise. I surveyed my audience. This is about 5 years ago. It takes me 5 years to write a book. And I said, what's your biggest challenge? And it came very clear that no one had a clue. I believe the biggest challenge entrepreneurs have is in fact knowing what their biggest challenge is. So we are constantly just doing things, putting out fires under constant duress, but our businesses seem to not make much progress. We hit this ceiling over and over. So with that as a thesis, I went out to research, how do we know what to do next?
Right.
And I found Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which I know you're familiar with.
Absolutely, yeah. And one of the first pages of the book it is.
It's right in the beginning of the book. I talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I found that there is a similar but distinctly different hierarchy of needs for business. And they're very similar, but there's a key distinct difference. So starting with Maslow says for all human beings, like if we sliced me and you right down the middle, not to be like draconian, but
I got it.
And we peel back the skin, we're identical. Like the DNA of humanity is identical, but we judge people based upon their sex, height, skin color, and these different components. That's the 0.01%.
Right.
Like if I was in cardiac arrest and I went to the hospital, the doctor wouldn't look at me and say, "Oh, where's your heart? Did you keep in your foot? You know, or is yours? You and me, the heart's in the same spot. Everything's the same." So how we address the health of a person follows a very similar hierarchy, identical hierarchy. So Maslow talks about our base level needs. It's all for all of humanity. The base level need is oxygen, food, water. He calls them physiological needs.
Right.
Once they're satisfied, we elevate to the next level of needs, which is safety, protection from the elements, protection from harm. Above that, we have what's called belonging, which means the need for relationships and community. And it goes all the way up to self-actualization, loosely said, living life's purpose. Well, in business, our business has a hierarchy of needs for its survival too. The base being sales. Sales is the access to oxygen for a business. It's the creation of cash.
Mark Cuban says sales cures all. When people come into the Shark Tank, whether you like it or hate it, and they're complaining, he's like, just sell.
Sales cures. Yeah, go ahead, and I actually disagree with sales cures all.
Okay.
It cures a little bit, but you can have a business that's doing millions of dollars of revenue without the next level, which is profitability. That is
true, Mike. I'm talking to the Profit First guy. That is true.
Yeah,
that is
profit translates to stability.
Continue on though, yeah.
I had a friend who had a $250 million business, a dear friend of mine. And from the outside, I was like, my God, she had hundreds and hundreds of employees and all this stuff. I was like, that's such an amazing business. And he collapsed overnight because they didn't have sustainable profits. One thing goes askew and the business is wiped out. So sales creates cash, but the health of an organization is retention of it. So that's profit. There's 5 levels. Here's what I want to get across. The key distinction between Maslow's hierarchy and the business hierarchy of needs is we are neurologically, biologically wired into ourselves. If you and I, Ramon, are walking down a dark alley and all of a sudden we're like, dude, this does not feel good. We both are turning around, we're getting the hell out of there. Because our senses trigger off a sensation, a gut instinct. Our business, we are not neurologically or biologically wired into our business. Yet We trust our instinct. We say,
Mm.
we got to sell our way out of this. Oh, we need to hire a rainmaker. We better increase prices. But we don't look at the empirical data. We just make these arbitrary guesses. Most business owners, almost all of them who are struggling, are simply relying on the gut alone. The
Mm.
gut is a beacon. There's no question about it. But we have to then assess within this business hierarchy of needs with data saying, what's the real true need? And just as a final point, we can go through the whole
No, I love this. Go ahead. Mhm.
Okay. But
I'm
as a
taking
final
notes, man.
point in regards to the hierarchy is that most businesses, particularly in crisis, as we're experiencing right now, say, I need to sell my way out of it. Sales cure everything. I'm finding, because I'm consulting so many businesses right now in group sessions and on the fly, that actually it's more of a profit problem, a stability issue. And even in crisis, you can address profitability by accessing your products offerings that have the best margin, by targeting your best clients who buy your best stuff and not worrying about the rest, by cutting costs. Cutting costs is a profit issue. So we may not need to sell our way out of it. We may have to actually focus on the second level. Just as a comparison, if you and we're both in New Jersey here, and this year was mild, but some winters we get 0 degrees Fahrenheit, right? It gets
when you walk outside, you're like, it slaps you in the head.
Exactly, and your eyes like freeze open.
Yes.
And here's what happens. If you or I were outside in like a t-shirt and this cold front's coming through and it's going to be sub-zero temperatures, we're going to have hypothermia. We will not sit there and say, hey, let's just breathe through this and see how we're doing. We're not seeking more oxygen. We're seeking shelter. We will get inside near that fireplace immediately. We'll seek clothing. But if we're sitting out there and these freezing temperatures are coming, but someone comes over and puts bags over our heads and duct tapes it, all of a sudden now the priorities rip off that bag because we're suffocating. Maslow's hierarchy identifies that as a base level need goes unserviced, we have to biologically revert to it. Well, in our business, if a base level need's not being serviced, if sales aren't being serviced, we have to revert there. But if we are outside shivering to death, it is not about serving the base. Now it's about getting the safety of profit. That's how it works. We have to work within the level where we have the immediate unsatisfied need, the most base level. But it doesn't mean starting at sales, meaning always working on sales. It means identifying where the current need is within this 5-level hierarchy.
Wow. And now, is this related, Mike, and you can say it better than me because if I turn to it, I won't find it in time, but is this related then at each of the levels? I believe you have 5 key points. Can you explain that? Is that connected? Can you explain to us what that's about?
Absolutely.
That's related.
So going further into the DNA, as I peeled back kind of the skin on businesses, I found there's actually 25 common indicators and they break into each level. So the base level is sales, creation of oxygen. Within there are 5 core needs. And I'll just give you an example here because going over all 25 would be too much. But in sales, there is a need in every organization to correlate sales to how it services the owners. It's called lifestyle congruence. Shockingly, many business owners don't even consider that. What kind of income do I need to take to have a degree of comfort in my life? Then what's the business need to support that? Most business owners actually pick arbitrary sales. We got to do $500,000. So that's a game changer. We need to do $1 million, but it's really not tied into what that means to us. And that's a big mistake. There's prospecting. Prospecting is the attraction of the right clients, of course. Conversion, making those prospects into actual clients. There's a collection of the money, and no agreement's done until the money's in the bank, and no agreement's done until the next stage, which is delivery of our offering. That's all part of sales. A sale is done when all of the agreement is fulfilled. So going up the levels, then there's profit. Profit is the second level in the business hierarchy of needs. There's elements like product margin, debt leveraging, which many people don't understand what debt leveraging is, and it's explained in the book. Above profit, we then have what's called order. Order is the creation of organizational efficiency, where the business starts working like gears.
A machine, baby.
Yes. Above that is called impact. Impact, and actually your business does this very well, Ramon. Many businesses don't consider this. Impact is where you are providing a service or product beyond the transaction. It's not about transaction, it's about transformation. How are we putting people on a fundamental shift in their lives? We're like, wow, this is greater than what was delivered. And it can be done many ways. Harley Davidson does it. You can buy a motorcycle anywhere. You buy a Harley Davidson, now you're part of the Harley Davidson family. You're a weekend warrior. You're going to throw a tattoo on your shoulder.
Wear the jacket and grow the beard out. And
exactly. You have to grow a beard. It's got to be scraggly like mine. So I'm a perfect
But you need a little more punch.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, a little punch. Exactly. And I got to, yeah. But so that's called transformation. And the highest level is called legacy. Legacy is the creation of permanence. This is my favorite level because of the fundamental shift that happens in our mind. The day a business starts focusing on legacy is the day the owners, the founders realize they've never actually owned a business in the first place. It's when we realize we've been stewards of a business, that we've been delivering on a mission. The business is its own thing. You don't own it. You've maybe given life to it, but it is about it, not about you. These 5 levels, just like Maslow's hierarchy, we always must satisfy the base. And if the base is satisfied, we can aspire to the next level. Once that's satisfied, the next level. But at any time, it's not a ladder you climb up and you wave from the top. We will cycle through this as needs present themselves.
I was talking, Mike, to a business owner that has a fitness company.
What company?
A fitness company, exercise and all that. Happens to be related to me, but hopefully they're not hearing this yet. Point being is that they said, Ramon, our business is different. Point I'm getting at, let me recap, is that I was telling them, similar to what you said, all businesses are relatively the same. We have to do these things. But they said, no. We're in this business and we have to do it so different. If you make sense what I'm trying to get at. My question is, why do people often say that, or is that just them, or do you come across people who think, no, Mike, in our business, we break these rules? Have you come across people like that?
Yeah. Because first of all, it's the ultimate defense mechanism, right? It protects me. Because if you say to me, all business is the same, and I wasn't doing that, you're also saying I was wrong. And that's very hard for me to accept that, to say, okay, I was doing something wrong. Now, when we say we do something different, we also aren't considering other businesses. We have a very myopic vision point where, well, this is how I do it. And we'll put a label or an interpretation on something, and it's actually a very common application, what they're doing. The fitness business is no different than any other business. It is a manufacturer. They manufacture, at the end of the day, an experience, a sensation of feeling. Right. I feel confident in myself, or I feel strength. I feel an awareness, whatever it is. They go then through a sequence of steps to get there. Exercise, stretching, whatever the elements are, but we get to that confidence. My business creates confidence in people. I take a different process to get there, but it's also an assembly of things to get to that final element. So we're both manufacturing. In fact, I'd argue every business is a manufacturer at the end of the day. We go through a sequence of processes to drive an end result. That's the essence of all business. And since it's the essence of all business at the fundamental level is the same.
Wow, that is powerful, Mike. I'm curious your thought on how do we get to this. Of course, we can read the book. That's one thing I want people to do, and I've been promoting it. Not because because you are, Mike, but not, it's a good book. That's what I'm trying to say. It's great, and I really encourage. If you look,
I thought ever since that prank I played on you that you did. This guy's the biggest jerk. Never buy any of his books.
I love you more, Mike. I love you more.
Okay. I love that you put up with my shenanigans. So
absolutely.
You.
I think last question or last thing I'm going to get into, Mike, because again, I want people to read it and I'm going to talk, write my thoughts on this as well. But business coaches are not. And the question is that we can read, I'll take myself as an example. I've hired coaches and et cetera. So for me, I am a believer in them. But what I'm trying to ask is that how do we get our businesses to up a level, to get to the next level? Because there's so many great books out. It happened with Profit First, for example. It took several times, and our mutual friend, Corey Kupfer, I think you may know him, he repeated that to me to kick me and help me. So my question is, Mike, how do we start? Do we hire somebody to help us? Because everybody reading is not enough. And everybody wants to grow their business. Any thoughts on the emotional part? How do we
Yeah, that's a great question. And at the end of the day, we will never do things until we believe they will serve us to our benefit. It's natural to resist. The vast majority of people that discover Profit First say, this is too simple and won't work. I'm going to go back to my old ways. So sometimes we have to get very frustrated with our old ways and say, this is no longer working for me. So there's an acknowledgement that it ain't working. So you got to come to that level. How I suggest people is just reflect back upon your business history. If your business is continuing to grow, it's joyful, it's running on automatic, you're probably there. I actually wouldn't change a thing. But if you're frustrated, if the only way the business can grow is by carrying on your back and working harder, if hustle and grind is a solution, and you've been hustling and grinding for more than a year, it ain't a solution.
Right.
I can guarantee that. So first, get frustrated. Second thing then is dip your toe in the water. And I think the easiest dip is, you can get the book, or you can just draw that little pyramid we just explained with profit and with sales at the bottom, profit going all the way up to legacy. The idea is then pin that on the wall. I have it on my wall at my office. Not this one, my home office. I got to put it up here now, now that I'm decorating. And what I do is every time there's a consideration, I pause now. Instead of having an action and a reaction, I have action contemplation. I look at the pyramid and say, where is it in this pyramid? And does it serve my current imminent need in my business?
Yes.
If no, it has to wait. If yes, focus on it. So between every action and reaction, there needs to be contemplation. Then once you start this realizing that, that's when you dig in deeper. And we do have a network of advisors called Fix This Next Advisors. Well, classy. But at fixthisnext.com, you can get started and ultimately take this exam to identify where you are, but you can also find an advisor. So that's kind of
the evaluation, right? I was there myself, and I think it asks you questions and you can go through that.
Ask you 25 questions. Yeah, you go to fixthisnext.com, you answer 25 questions. It takes less than 5 minutes. You don't have to download anything. You just take it and it spits on the screen saying, this is where your company's vital need is. And it starts giving you that awareness about what you need to tackle.
Awesome. Mike, this has been powerful, man. It's just been great jamming with you even for a few minutes. All of us watch you online. And so I think the best place to go for all information about Fix This Next is fixthisnext.com. I happen to have memorized how to spell Mike's last name. It's just something I did as a weird thing. I can do it from memory. But Mike Michalowicz, author of Fix This Next, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We really appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, for more information like this from Amazing Entrepreneur, check out smarthustle.com. And my name is Ramon Ray, here to serve you.